A demographic shift is upon us, and we stand today at the precipice of the African youth bulge. And we also have heard about that in some of the things this morning. And it could offer us both danger and opportunity. So danger in the form of unemployment, social and political unrest, upheaval, poverty, and environmental disaster. But it could also offer us an opportunity and in the form of job satisfaction, shared prosperity, increased standards of living, and environmental abundance. So across Africa, we have an ever-increasing numbers of young youth entering a productive age. That's between 18 and 65, while the rest of the world has an increasing number of elderly leaving productive age. And we are bunched in a bulge around 18, and they're bunched in a bulge around 65. And what will be the future look like for this group of youth in that bulge, right? Depending on how we manage this demographic shift, it could mean more and more people tarmacking for a job, or it could be thriving in a productive work building the region. And this has been seen before. So Asia was able to harness the potential of their youth bulge with investment in health and education, while Latin America did not. However, in our case, tilting our scenario towards unemployment is the nature of work itself is changing with the rise of robots. And robots are excellent at memorization, counting, root tasks, and will replace us in these types of work. So what they can't do, however, is critical, creative, and strategic thinking. And we need to take charge of our own future. And in some ways, we can learn from the past, and let me explain that. Recognizing that independence was not a question of if, but when, in 1958, Tom Mboya, also a youth at that time, understood that educated Africans were needed to replace a leaving colonial administration. So taking an advantage of a demographic shift, he sent students to study in the United States, building the base of our universities, governments, and private institutions across East Africa. One of the advantages was that they had international exposure. This was an elite program with relatively short-term immediate payoff, but had ripple effects across government and academia. So another example where we've done this before is in the 1980s. From the 1980s onwards, the Kenya government massively expanded the number of students, the number of primary schools, the number of secondary schools, and the number of universities across the country. This coincided with a transforming economy due to a demographic shift where for the first time there were more people of productive age, between 18 and 65, than unproductive, either younger or older. Thus, 20 years after the education expansion, Kenyans entering their productive years are able to take advantage of the changing economies in Africa since 2000 in ways few other countries have been able to do, harnessing the demographic dividend. So Kenyans today dominate the skilled jobs across East Africa. You'll see that anywhere you go, in whether it's IT, hotels, banking, telecommunications, and not just East Africa, including places like Nigeria, because they were comparatively well prepared for an economy they were entering at a time of a demographic shift. So we're faced today with an opportunity of a youth bulge that needs to be prepared. And having made big investments in education in East Africa, today technical competence is not a major constraint. However, as this future unfolds, it won't be enough to be good at just problem solving. We must ask if we are answering the right questions. Or are we answering questions already formulated by someone else, somewhere else? The challenge, my friends, I feel, is not about finding the right answers, but being able to ask the right questions. And so how do you develop the capacity to ask the right questions for the future of East Africa? And I'd like to suggest the answer lies in a transformation of education. In particular, in a transformation of education that emphasizes critical, creative, and strategic thinking. So what kind of transformative thing could we do on a limited budget, because the education amounts are just massive, right? that could have knock-on effects across the education pipeline. I would propose that we would think about creating a Keystone University that could tilt both demand and supply of education towards the next critical, creative, and strategic leaders. This university would concentrate on specifically history, philosophy, political science, sociology or anthropology, cultural studies, and economics. I imagine a university that is set up in such a way that the undergraduates would do part of their degree at a Keystone University, including a core curriculum, and part of their degree in some of the top universities in Africa, including University of Nairobi, Makerere, Dar es Salaam, Legon, Ibadan, Wits. You can name a number of them, and I'm only naming the ones that teach in English. And with time, also in highly regarded universities across the world. This would allow the Keystone University to strengthen the fields of critical thinking across associated universities in Africa. They would benefit from established institutions across Africa and outside of Africa, and give students international exposure. Also, as a pipeline for high school graduates, the undergraduate curriculum could produce a demand for a certain type of teaching in high schools because of its demanding entrance criteria and outreach. I also imagine a Keystone University that would offer professional masters through linked local institutions with shared teaching. The Keystone University would not teach professional courses, but rather would act as a theoretical and critical lens to the more technical training, enhancing our capacity to ask the right questions. Finally, the Keystone University would offer rigorous, well-supported and research PhDs in the mentioned fields with the aim of supplying the leading thinkers in government and private institutions in the region. The alumni, in turn, would be able to ask the right questions to produce transformed cities, jobs, health, and lives. And Africa will soon have more people of university age than India and China combined. So I think this is an opportunity we really can't miss.